You know the guy who installed my cabinets? He's only gone and got arrested. Yeah, for counterfeiting. Hello everybody, welcome to the video, and today... Why did that one tickle me so much? I want to do a video where I want to show you the top 10 PlayStation 1 games. And welcome to the video. It is still quite cold in here. Hopefully one day I will don the cap and not the beanie hat thing. But welcome to the video. Thank you very much for all your support over the last few weeks with the new videos. There is going to be a Resident Evil 2 video. It's about halfway done. So shut your faces and calm down and fuck off. No, please don't fuck off. Some people I think are actually fucking off. I think they're just going, oh, fuck this, and leaving, which is fine. Hopefully they'll find their way back. So without further ado, let's go through these top 10 games and, and have a bit of a natter along the way. So these are 10 games, not necessarily in order, but they are definitely 10 games that are essential for your PlayStation 1 collection, in my opinion. There you go. That absconds me from anything. So the first one is a bit slightly rarer game, but a really good one, and that is The Nightmare Creatures. So this is a game by Sony themselves, and it was also by, Callisto was the name of the company. It's a really good game. It's kind of a hack and slash survival horror set in Victorian London. You play as a rather acrobatic woman, or if I remember, it's like some kind of guy who's like a monk or something. I think so, something like that. But it's a really good game, and it's got a lot of tension and atmosphere to it, but it was very good. Number 2 is worth an absolute fortune, but this one is still quite affordable and still quite easy to pick up, and it's so much fun. The music was really good. The graphics are that wonderful PlayStation grainy, polygony kind of a feeling to them, which makes it so good to play. But yeah, there you go. Nightmare Creatures is our first one. Next up is an absolute classic, and I mean a classic. Like, you will know immediately when I show you this, if you are a PlayStation fan, obviously. It is Abe's Oddysee. Abe's Oddysee came out pretty much at the very beginning of the console's life. You play as Abe. There he is. Hello, look at me. Yes, Abe is this creature. He works for a corporation, and then he realised that actually they're making the food that he creates, because he's a slave. They're making it out of his own people. So his job is to leave, and it's a bit of a platform puzzle. So there's it's a 2D platform, but you have to sort of try and work out how you're going to get past the next obstacle. Absolutely brilliant game, still good to this day, beautiful looking, and it's really old game. What is it, like 1996, something like that? But yeah, it was so much fun, and definitely it's got a warm place in everyone's heart. Very good PlayStation game. Next up is an absolute monster of a game, literally and figuratively, and that is Resident Evil 2. There it is. What can be said about Resident Evil 2 that hasn't already been said before? I don't want to go too much detail, because obviously my retrospective is coming for this game. That wasn't just an advert, it was actually a game I'm going to be doing. But yeah, really good. Resident Evil, it's classic Resident Evil at its best, in my opinion. Probably the best out of the 3 on the original PlayStation. The backdrops are beautiful. The setting is vast. The characters are really well fleshed out. The story is good. It's just a really good game all round, and it's definitely worth picking up. It's about £25 now, but definitely worth picking up. If you don't have it, it's an essential game. There's so much playability in it. You play as Leon. He has 2 campaigns, and then Claire has 2 campaigns, and certain things cross over as well. Really good game. Next up is a beat 'em up. In my opinion, the best beat 'em up on the console. Definitely a beat 'em up that made me want to buy the console. Not necessarily everyone's choice. There was the other franchise but made by the same people, so they didn't care. It is Soul Blade. Wow, this game is so good. I love Soul Blade. The characters are diverse. The fighting patterns are diverse. It's very easy to play and very hard to master. There's some great characters on here. This particular guy here, is it Voldo, I think his name is? Some kind of Italian merchant that went insane. He's a great character. You've got Siegfried, I think, which is like a big knight with a gigantic sword. And there's Taki, she's like a ninja. Sophitia, who's like a Greek goddess or something. Amazing game from start to finish. Classic. Really good. Really good. Next up in the Essential Games is by the same makers as Resident Evil. In fact, this would potentially be a Resident Evil clone, except it's made by the same company. But that would be Dino Crisis. There you go. Virgin Interactive got involved with the making of number 2 Resident Evil, and they also got involved with the making of Dino Crisis. This is really scary. It's not the arcade game that the second one is. It is genuinely terrifying. The raptors are fast and very effective and very dangerous. They take a lot to take out. And then there's obviously a larger enemy that comes along as well. But it's such a great game. It's brilliant. Yeah, definitely worth buying. A little bit pricey now. You're looking around about £40 for this game. And it's getting pricier. Number 2's even more expensive. But definitely one to pick. I must say, I've picked... There's a few of each franchise. Like, I could have probably put 3 Resident Evil games into here. Because I like all 3. Same with Dino Crisis, all 2. I've tried to pick one of each franchise so that we don't get bogged down with too many games, if that's okay with you guys. And on that note, I've picked Tomb Raider 2. Now, the original Tomb Raider was really good, and it took everyone by surprise. We weren't expecting Eidos and Core to create such a iconic game, but I genuinely think the hype and the gameplay and the actual experience of the game is so much better in number 2. Number 1 was great, but number 2 is just beautiful. It's such a pretty game. The levels are bigger. It's way more ambitious, and it just takes Lara Croft on a much bigger story. You start off in China, you move on to Venice, and you just keep going. It's just place to place to place. Absolutely amazing, top-notch game. Best in the group of games for the PlayStation 1. The hype on that game, if I remember right, was insane. Insane. But really good. Yeah. Next up, we have a real staple. In fact, I would probably say it is the iconic character of the console itself. It's Crash Bandicoot. There he is. He's had a bit of a revival recently. He's had these games remastered, and he's released a 4th one as well. Bunch of racing games and all that. But this is a fantastic old platform game. In keeping with the Mario 64 style, in keeping with all the others that you remember. It's such a good game. It's very difficult. There's a very steep learning curve with this game. It really does push all the boundaries. It's a difficult game to play. But there he is, beaming away. Little cheeky face there. And it looks like he's done a shit and he's running off. He's like, I'll never find that. By Naughty Dog, a company that are very well known for producing a lot of very decent games. But this was definitely up there with that. I've only got 3 more. Where did the time go? It's got to be a very short video, isn't it? For you, Sunshine, I'm getting to the point. Okay. Rude. It's a good job I love you. I wonder what you look like. I don't know. I bet you've just got, I don't know, just a wonderful mountain breeze-like look to you. I think you've got raven hair. Look, I'm talking. I need to move on. I need to get on with it. No offence from anybody. More than happy to laugh at anyone who wants to wind me up and say things. It's always funny. So no offence taken from anyone. Final Fantasy VII, it had to be there, didn't it? 97% this got. In fact, it's got a 10 out of 10 from Official PlayStation Magazine. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. This has got to be the most perfect Final Fantasy ever made. They hit gold, they struck oil, and they mined diamonds all at the same time. And then they went, let's try over there and see if we do it again. And they got diamond and gold, but they didn't get the oil. And that was how it was from then on. None of the games after this one quite hit all three. It's on 3 discs. It's over 100 hours long. The story is pretty good. You feel for these characters. You want them to succeed. You follow them through this. It's such a great game. And there's all these little mini games in there, and there's just different. There's tangents to the game. You can kind of go off and just do a bunch of things, and you just feel like there's a lot of game in here. And for the time and what we were used to as PlayStation players, this was so ambitious, but we loved every minute of it. And Final Fantasy VII definitely delivered. It's still my favourite game of all time. I love it. It's probably one of my favourites in the world out of all the consoles. I'm going to do this one next and then that one. This one is Tekken. It's a new game. No, it's not. But there they are. There is a bunch of people punching things. And then there's Jack at the back going, I'm going to punch you all. Tekken. There you go. So it's a fighter that was kind of rivaling Soul Blade, but made by the same people. They were all made by Namco. This is really good. And Tekken went on to make even better games than... I picked the original. And the reason why was because... I remember when it first came out, everybody just went, this is great. Now, Tekken 2, I may argue, is maybe marginally better, but there's something quite wonderful about the first one. The first one introduced us to the characters, it set the plot, the fighting style was great. Everybody started to fall in love with Yoshimitsu because he was the coolest and he looked like an alien with a big sword. It was a really good game. And then number 2 came out. Then number 3, I remember number 3 being the biggest thing that was ever going to happen in the world ever. And it was great. But this is great. Yeah. And still going very strong. Are we on 8 or 7 now, I think? I think it's 8, isn't it? But yeah, Tekken. Good game. Last but not least, what do you think it is? I'm going to give you a second. What do you think this game is? And it's going to be exactly what you think it is. It is Metal Gear Solid. There it is. This was amazing. This was possibly the first game we ever played where it actually felt like a movie. It's beautiful. From the very moment you kind of surface from the water and have to work your way to the elevator, and then you realise that they can see your footsteps, and then you realise they can see your breath, and they realise you can do all these different things, and you're like, wow, this game is so... It was that point where we never thought a game was that clever until Metal Gear Solid came out, and then we realised actually these games can be that clever, and this was one of them. You follow the escapades of Solid Snake as he tries to fight his way through a facility and stop very bad things from happening to the world. You have to sneak. There's espionage. You can go in full combat, but you will find yourself overwhelmed. It's much better and much more fun to try and sneak your way in as best you can. But what a fantastic game. Yeah, a little bit heavy on the cutscenes, especially if you've played through it and you know the plot. But it does play like a movie, and Hideo Kojima is the man who created this. Definitely did a really good job of making sure this particular franchise started off well and went on from there, strength to strength. So there you go, guys. That is my 10 games you must get on your PlayStation 1. If you don't buy anything else, definitely get those. There are a bunch of hidden gems. The PlayStation 1 is still my favourite console of all time. I love the games. I love the console. It's my childhood from when I was about 14. Loved every minute of it. I remember getting it for Christmas, and my dad let me play with it way before then. But a great console, and yeah, good fun. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. If you are enjoying the channel and you would like to hear more of me and see more of me, then please click the link down below. Give me a subscribe. Give me a like. Give me your knickers. Give me the keys to your house, and I'll look after your small children while you're gone. I promise I won't do anything. Oh, that was a line from Jimmy Savile. He went, oh, I promise I won't do anything. Anyway, thank you very much, guys, for joining me on this video. Hopefully you're having a wonderful week, and I shall speak to you very soon. But until then, have a great time, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.